mess up.
James Creedon's here with Media Watch, looking at reaction online to Obamacare. It's been passed by the Supreme Court.
That's right, and a lot of confusion earlier today, Mark, in Washington and indeed online, as that decision was being read out by the Chief Justice of the US Supreme Court, because he seemed to be going one way in the first 5 minutes of reading out his casting vote, and then it was 5 minutes in, really, that it became clear that he was actually going to support Obamacare, or at least leave it stand. So you can see here one tweet: crowds outside SCOTUS, that is what they call the Supreme Court of the United States, as in POTUS for the President of the United States. Everyone confused, both sides cheering. And indeed, it was so confused that a lot of US networks got it wrong. CNN initially picked up on the first 5 minutes of the Chief Justice's speech and thought it was going one way, when in fact it was going the other. So people obviously pointing at CNN and laughing, which is maybe a bit unfair. You have Jeff Toobin, who is one of their legal guys, who was at the Supreme Court explaining what happened, which is essentially what I just said about the first 5 minutes being very misleading. And you have tweets as well picking up on that, and I suppose the way in which US networks are very politicised on issues such as this. Fox News would rather it have gone south because they're more in favour of the Republicans usually. MSNBC are normally pro-Democrat, and CNN didn't really know what was going on. And the problem there was other media followed the very much respected and established CNN and other networks, and for example, the Huffington Post went with it as well, and here they're issuing an apology for all of that confusion. So the Chief Justice, John Roberts, perhaps he was just wanting a bit of attention, because he certainly didn't make it very clear in the first 5 minutes the way things were going to go. That's a photo of him there in the New Yorker magazine. He was in the Reagan administration originally, seen as a conservative. He was suspected to go the conservative route and say Obamacare, no thank you very much, and surprised everybody. Take a look at this, Mark. I thought this was kind of funny. You know the way they always talk about leaving and going to Canada, Americans, if things don't go their way politically? Well, here you had some kind of confused people on Twitter saying that they were going to move to Canada because of Obamacare, except actually in Canada they already have universal healthcare, right? So you have, I'm moving to Canada, blah, 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 blah. And there were loads of people did it, so I really don't know what they were talking about. SCOTUS, one person saying SCOTUS sounded a bit like a disease one could die from without health insurance. I did like that one. So look, lots of reaction online today to this news, and of course it's been straight away politicised. That's a quote picked up by the Washington Post. Romney saying, if you want to get rid of Obamacare, well, get rid of Obama. So it's straight away become a political football and a justification for Romney to say, look, we don't want universal healthcare, let's get rid of Obama. And you know, a lot of people, I think, especially in France, look at this, well, not just in France, in a lot of countries, look at this debate in the US and think, gosh, this is really difficult to understand. Isn't healthcare something that really the state should provide? So
that is quite funny and quite opposite what Dave Rubin is saying there from the Rubin report, yeah?
That's right. And
only in America would so many overweight, diabetic people with heart disease be upset that they're going to have healthcare.
And that was the top tweet for much of the afternoon this afternoon. So it did strike a chord with a lot of people on Twitter. People feeling that, yes, healthcare should be universal.
Is he making a comment about Republicans there, do you think?
I think a little. I think
he's digging at them, isn't he?
And not just liberal Twitter users, but liberal US magazines were getting on the bandwagon too. The New Yorker, known for its good cartoons. Yeah. Here they have, I'm not sure if we can see the band line there, but your coverage doesn't seem to include illness, says one doctor to a kind of a slightly dejected looking cartoon patient there. And I'll just finish, Mark, with this. This is Obama's Facebook page.
Okay.
And not unsurprisingly, for a pretty successful day for the US president in terms of this policy being given the thumbs up by the Supreme Court, he's doing a bit of gloating. Obamacare upheld in big red bold writing on his Facebook page.
Okay, and I've even had an email asking for more money. I keep getting emails from him saying, give me money, but there you go.
No,
I'm not even a supporter.
I think you should just,
can't be.
Just
I'm independent. I've got to be. James, thank you very much indeed. James Creedon.
Thanks, Mark.
As ever with Media Watch. Thank you very much, sir. Pleasure to see you. Short break after that. We're back with more news and sport, including, of course, the latest from that all-important Euro 2012 semi-final, Italy versus Germany. Stay with us.